right, let's get
Welcome to No Stats, where we call it how we see it.
back again with another one in there, baby.
Peach was being an idiot before we jumped on, so my fault about that. But before we
Language.
jump in, before we jump in today, as always, like, share, comment, show us some love because we're gonna keep dropping this content. We're gonna keep dropping this heat. NFL previews and record predictions coming at y'all. We also gonna do an NBA offseason. We also gonna do our NFL playoff preseason predictions and Super Bowl winners. We're going to talk fantasy football. We're going to be talking boxing. We got a lot of heat coming for y'all, so make sure y'all stay tuned. Ring that bell. Subscribe. Tell your friend to subscribe. And we're going to do our thing.
Please do. Love is love, baby. We appreciate all the feedback.
Watch the handle. It takes skill. We got to run it back. We in the field. You said it changed that. You in your field. We looking for the facts. Let's keep it real. Yeah, we talking no stats. Yeah, we talking no stats. Yeah, we talking no stats.
Bro, we wrap up the AFC West today with the defending Super Bowl champions. I whispered that. We wrap it up with the defending Super Bowl champions. Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, and Andy Reid won 2 Super Bowls in the last 4 years and the 5 straight AFC Championship games. Dominating the league, to be honest. I don't know. It's kind of hurting talking about this. I don't know if I'm ready to do this.
As a Bengal fan, I know your fucking spine is getting taken up. On a good note, though, this ball club surprisingly was 4-2 through week 6. They didn't lose another game for the rest of the season except one. That was to your Bengals. So a little bit of light in the dark, man.
But we won the one that didn't matter. I mean, regular season game, but when we played them in the AFC Championship game, that's the one we won it. But we'll talk about the Bengals when we get there. Chiefs, giving them their flowers. Like I said, been at the pinnacle and at the top for a little while now. Everybody trying to knock them off. And what was really exciting about this ring, and I think this is their, like, if I'm a Chiefs fan, this is the ring that kind of make you, walk around with a little swag.
Yeah.
Feel yourself a little bit because you lose Tyreek Hill, and everybody kind of counted you out. Thought you was gonna take a step back, and then you go on this run and you get another ring. That's kind of dope, from a Chiefs perspective. And they're favorite to win the Super Bowl again next year. As long as Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid is together, and Travis Kelce, right? That's the other thing I want to make sure I put out there. Travis Kelce is a different tight end, man. I think when it's all said and done, he's going to be the best receiving tight end of all time. Travis Kelce is a weapon. Losing Tyreek Hill, I know a lot of people thought Tyreek Hill, he was the most electrifying offensive player, but I think Travis Kelce was always the most consistent and the guy that Mahomes kind of depended on. And that chemistry was phenomenal. Patrick Mahomes is going to make everybody look great. But go ahead.
Yeah, and you could put Travis anywhere. I think that's what kind of the thing that kind of separated from him and Tyreek. And I'm not saying that you can't slide Tyreek to the slot or make him a 1A or 1B receiver, but you can line Travis Kelce up on a line like a receiver. You could put him in the backfield like a fucking fullback. You could put him on the line like a tight end. He catches check down. He catches the deep ball. He catches over the top. He runs post. He runs fades. Like, there's so many things that you can do with him. I think this year is gonna be. I think this year is gonna be big for him because teams are gonna be zoning up a little more. This Chiefs team, not to look too far ahead, but you lose out on Juju Smith-Schuster, Mecole Hardman, lose him to the Jets, and I think they're gonna rely more on Kadarius Toomey and Sky Moore, who showed flashes but was kind of playing behind Mecole a lot. They sort of in the same position, more deep threat, more post patterns. And I think they're going to rely more on those guys. But I can see Travis Kelce getting the bulk of the attention, and just to see how he adjusts through that going forward.
Agreed, bro. Agreed, man. But these wide receivers, I just think, before we jump into the key losses and key additions, as I mentioned, last season Super Bowl champions, right? So it's either you do it again or you take a step back. It's kind of tough when you're at the top. You know, there's no more room for you to go. You didn't hit the ceiling. You can just kind of continue this streak and become a dynasty. Patrick Mahomes has been quoted saying that he feels like you need 3 to become a dynasty. So I feel like that's good in terms of the Chiefs and Chiefs fans and Chiefs players because it gives you something to be motivated for. Right? Sometimes you see teams, it's hard. First of all, I just want to put this note out there. There hasn't been a back-to-back NFL Super Bowl winner in almost 20 years since the Patriots.
Yeah, 2000 Patriots. 2001, 2000.
2003, 2004, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's tough to do, bro, because you look at the Chiefs' path last year. Mahomes gets hurt in that Jags game, was able to come back out, thankfully, right? You don't want to see nobody get hurt, but there's a chance. It's football. He could have not came back out, and that could have changed the whole thing. Then you play the Bengals, and it's a field goal game. It's a close game. It's a couple calls. You know, that roughing the passer call at the end put them in field goal position. They win that game. Things go a little different. Then they play the Eagles. Again, the Eagles were up at halftime. So it's like you need all of those things to go right again, which kind of makes it tough. But jumping into their losses, like you said, they lose Juju. They lose McCole Hardman. 2 of their receivers. Juju led the team in receiving last year. McCole Hardman's always been that Swiss Army knife, another fast guy who they can move around and stretch the field with. But something I'm looking at, right, is they lose 2/5 of the offensive line. They lose Andrew Wiley, who was their right tackle, and they lose Orlando Brown Jr. to the Bengals.
If you didn't catch that take, Steph did a whole 15-minute segment on Orlando Brown Jr. a little bit back with the signing.
Yeah, the Orlando Brown Jr., they lose him. They lose 2/5 of that line. They bring in, and I'm just going to jump over to the addition. They bring in Donovan Smith, and they bring in Jawan Taylor. Now, the original plan was to have Jawan Taylor at the left tackle until they got Donovan Smith. And now because Jawan Taylor played right tackle at Jacksonville. Mm-hmm. They were going to move him to left tackle, but now that they, added Donovan Smith from Tampa, they're going to keep Jawan Taylor at the right tackle and put Donovan Smith at the left tackle. Now, the problem with Donovan Smith is he gave up a lot of sacks last year, and I believe he led the league in holding penalties.
Yep.
And he has some injury history. So I think that is a significant downgrade, and it's about how it meshed, bro. One thing about offensive line is all about chemistry and about the fit. They work as a unit. You can have a great left tackle and a great right guard, but if your center, left guard, and right tackle don't figure it out, it won't work because it's a cohesive unit. So I think that if I'm looking at it, right, because offensively, I just feel like Patrick Mahomes, Travis Kelce, Andy Reid, they're going to carry that offense no matter what receivers you put out there. After last year, I'm convinced they're going to figure the offense out. Defensively, I think they do just enough with Spagnuolo. They're going to do just enough. I know Chris Jones is holding out right now of training camp, trying to get his contract right, and I think they will. But they always do just enough. I think the offensive line is going to have to be their Achilles heel if a team wants to overtake the Chiefs. Kind of like it was for the Bucs. That Bucs Super Bowl that they lost, the reason they lost was because, and had 9 points, was because Mahomes didn't have enough time. They was on his ass before he could even blink. And I think they take a step back offensive line-wise. We'll see. But getting into a couple other losses, they lose Frank Clark, who was one of their best edge rushers. They lose Carlos Dunlap, another one of their edge rushers, former Bengal there. They lose Juan Thornhill. And then also they lose Eric Bieniemy, their offensive coordinator. I don't think that's a big loss, to be honest. I like Eric Bieniemy a lot. I'm glad he is getting to prove himself somewhere else. Should have been a head coaching job, but getting to prove himself somewhere else. But Matt Nagy will step in and fill those shoes pretty well. As far as the additions, real quick, they get Mike Edwards. They get Drew Tranquil. We just talked about in the last video from the Chargers. Check that Chargers video out if y'all haven't yet. They draft Felix and the DK Uzama out of Kansas State. I liked him a lot. I think he tested well at the NFL Combine. And then they bring in Blaine Gabbert as a backup quarterback. And Richie James. I ain't going to leave Richie James out of there from the Giants. So, all in all, they kind of swap some things out, but they need to make these pieces fit. But I've been rambling, bro. What you feel about this Chiefs team? The losses, the additions, where they're headed. Can they repeat?
I'm a little skeptical on the repeat part just because of the losses on the offensive line. I think if that's an issue and you have Patty having to make miracle plays damn near every game, I think that's going to be a little bit taxing. I do like this defense still. I think like you said, I think they'll come to agreement with Chris Jones, but you still have Chris Jones, you still got Nick Bolton, you still got, what is his name, L'Jarius Sneed. But just a couple pieces that familiar with this defense going forward. And I'm just excited to see how Andy Reid, how Patrick Mahomes takes another ball club that were kind of like, I think people are still sleeping on them, even though they proved it last year. I think they got to prove it again. The cards are still dealt the same. They don't have no legit number one wide receiver. I mean, Travis Kelce is out of this world, but he's still not a receiver. And then this running back tandem, I think it's very dynamic. You got Isaiah Pacheco. You still got Jerick McKinnon, who was one of Patty Mahomes' favorite targets. You could slide him out of the receiver. And you still got the veteran Clyde Edwards-Helaire. So I think that's going to open up a lot of things for them now. Like Pacheco is going to be your starter, but now he's a little bit more confident. He has a Super Bowl title under his belt. It's so many things you could do with Jerick McKinnon. So many things. You could put this man all over the field. So I'm interested to see how Andy Reid works with this running back group and what spots he puts them in to succeed.
Agreed, bro. I think you made two great points. Stand on the offense with the wide receivers. Kadarius Toney, touching on one of your earlier points, played really well when he got to Kansas City. I know he suffered a little injury at training camp, but if he's able to be healthy, I think Kadarius Toney will help this offense out a lot. Another player who kind of gets pushed under the rug, who made some big plays last year, was MVS, Marquez Valdez-Scantling.
I forgot about Scantling.
Yeah, he played well. So I think that's why I said offensively, man, if the offensive line doesn't bend a little bit or, if not break, I think they'll be fine. Patrick Mahomes and Andy Reid will make it work. Travis Kelce is going to draw attention, so it's going to leave guys open. They bring in Richie James, who I think can make some plays. So I'm not really worried about the receivers. And then on the other note, on the defensive end, they had a lot of young guys last year who gained a lot of experience. And I think they're only going to go forward. So the defense will be fine as well. So just wanted to make those notes there on this Chiefs team. But let's jump into the schedule, bro.
Chiefs team that just been floating around.
Let's jump into it. A lot of W's. Lot of W's, bro. 14-3. Actually, my apologies. Hold on. I'm sorry. I'm sorry, viewers. We got to change something really quick. Because this is my mistake. Because we did the
Cardinals preview. Close your eyes.
No, this is my mistake though, because we did the Broncos video, and again, if you haven't seen that, go check that out. But Peach convinced me that the Broncos would be able to take a W from the Chiefs, and I didn't reflect that in the schedule, and I'm still messing up because I didn't even update the record prediction. So we got the Broncos getting that win. So just wanted to update that for y'all. Apologies for the jumping out and all of that.
So
but let's jump into the schedule.
Our maintenance guy. He knows what he's doing.
Yeah. Let's jump right into it though, bro. 14-3 last year, number 1 seed in the AFC. They start this year out against the Lions, Thursday Night Football, first game of the season. I can't wait. But I think that being in Arrowhead, sometimes these teams that win Super Bowls, they receive they get their banner put up. It's kind of a party. You kind of still living in that last season, and you don't come out ready to fire. But this is a team that tasted success before, so So I don't think that'll really be a problem. I think they'll be ready to go. Exciting game, but they'll beat the Lions to start the season. Week 2, they have to go to Jacksonville. I can see them stumble a bit here. I think Jacksonville wants some revenge from that game. And not just wanted. I like Doug Peterson. I think he comes from under that Andy Reid tree, so I think he'll kind of be prepared for this game. I think Trevor Lawrence is ready to take that next step. They get Calvin Ridley back. So I've been seeing a lot of videos of him in training camp, and he ready to go. They added some pieces to this Jaguars team. And I think the Jags upset them, and I believe this is their home opener, Jacksonville's home opener. I think they'll be hype for this game, and I think Jacksonville can pull it off. But then the Chiefs are going to go on a bit of a run here. 5 games in a row, 5-game win streak. Bears at home, W. They got to go to the Jets. I think that's a W. Week 4, the Jets still trying to figure things out. W. They got to play the Vikings. I think that's a W. Then they're home for two division games. They're home against the Broncos. They're home against the Chargers. I do think the Chiefs win both of those in Arrowhead. But Peach did convince me week 8 that's a tough stretch. You got at Jets, at Vikings, and then you got 2 divisional games against the Broncos and the Chargers, which are going to be tough wins. You pull all 4 of those out, and then you got to go to Denver and play them after you just played them 2 weeks ago. And I agreed with him. And I said, yeah, maybe the Broncos can get them here.
Let that marinate a little bit.
Yeah, so Broncos get that dub in week 8, and the Chiefs lose. And then the Dolphins game is in Kansas City, and I think the Dolphins get them. I do. I think the Dolphins. I think Tyreek Hill's looking forward to this matchup, and I think they'll get this. They'll lose 2 straight right before the bye, and it'll be kind of tough. So.
It's just a little suspense.
Yeah, like I said, absolutely. 6-3.
Come on, man. How you a little nervous? Like, the Chiefs, all the takes is gonna be like, the Chiefs is on the 2-game losing streak, going into the bye. Yeah. This doesn't look like the same team from last year. You already know.
Keep talking. I messed up again, bro. Keep talking.
You already know how it goes, man. But I completely agree with those first 10 weeks. Just how everything looks. I think that week 2 game in Jacksonville, I think that's going to be a shootout. Could come down to a last-minute field goal, but I like Jacksonville edging in that. And I can see the Chiefs rolling off 4 to 5 wins, like you have here in week 3 through 7. And then, taking that L to the Broncos, letting Tyreek Hill get his flowers. This might be like a 33 to 16, some weird game. Tyreek, a buck with 2 TDs. He talking his shit. So we shall see, man. I'm definitely excited, man. I'm definitely excited.
Yeah, me too. But I think that's gonna be a hell of a game. They get the bye week at a favorable point, right? Almost smack dead in the middle of the season. That's where you want the bye. You want to get through the first slate, get a bye, rest up, and go through the second slate. And I think when they rest up, they'll realize we got 3 losses. And if we want to win this AFC, we got to pick the pace up. That bye is crucial. That bye is crucial because right after that bye, they got the Eagles. Now, if they didn't have that bye, I would think the Eagles would want some revenge, even though it's not. I hate the revenge games because you lost the Super Bowl. This doesn't revenge that.
At all.
But I think the Eagles will want to win this game. But after the bye, I think you give Andy Reid 2 weeks to prepare for you. I'm not sure who the Eagles' opponent is in Week 10 or if they have a bye. But it being in Arrowhead, I'm going Kansas City with the W there. Big W. At the Raiders, at the Packers, I think they're going to wipe the floor with both of those teams. And I think the Bills will beat the Chiefs. I think the Bills play the Chiefs really well in the regular season. I think this is the Bills' Super Bowl. I think the Bills just play now to beat the Chiefs for some reason. So I think they'll lose to the Bills at home. That's only 2. I was just looking at the losses at Arrowhead. That's only 2. I think the Bills will beat them in that game. But then they go on a 4-game winning streak. They go to New England. I think they win. They play the Raiders. I think they win. They play the Bengals at home. I think they get the dub.
I couldn't even was waiting for week 17 the whole segment.
I know you was.
And I need to know why. Why do they beat your Bengals in week 17?
I think, and I don't want to give too much away, but I previewed the Bengals schedule. Of course, I know the Bengals schedule. I got our wins and losses already tallied. I think that this Chiefs team will be. They don't want to lose to the Bengals. They know, and if you watch the quarterback series and you hear Patrick Mahomes say, I haven't beat the Bengals. This was their first time beating them in the AFC Championship game last year. So I think, and what all of the trash talking that the Bengals and the mayor of Cincinnati was doing to the Chiefs, I think this is a rivalry. It's becoming the best rivalry in the NFL, and I think the Chiefs will want to protect home field. Mm-hmm. I don't want to give away
Save the goods. You don't gotta give them more.
But I do think the Chiefs get this one. Honestly, I do think the Chiefs get this one week 17. I think they'll be trying to. I think the Bengals are going to get off to a great start, a little sneak peek, and I think by this time they'll be trying to catch the Bengals for the 1 seed. But I'm gonna keep that one in the back pocket till we do the Bengals. And then I think they finish the game out at the Chargers with a win. Again, trying to go for that 1 seed, and I think they finish out 13-4. I mean, it's the Chiefs. It's a 1 game difference. I think all those games that they lost are losable. If I had to change something before I go to you, if I had to change a W to an L, it'll either be the Eagles or the Bengals. I would lean more Bengals than Eagles just for the simple fact that they're coming off the bye. And Joe Burrow is 3-1 against Patrick Mahomes. And if I had to change an L to a W, I don't want to say they sweep the end of that back end of the schedule, so I'm going to change something in the beginning, and I'm going to say they beat the Jags week 2. If I had to change an L to a W.
I like that.
What you think, brother? Talk to me.
I'm going to start out from an L to a W. I would have to go week 9 versus the Dolphins. If Tyreek doesn't have his coming out party, I think this is a game to where the Chiefs make a statement like, you should have probably sat your ass down here. You have another ring. The grass ain't always greener where you at, and I know you got a bigger bag, but I could see that game maybe going opposite. Tyreek Hill missing Kansas City a little bit. A win that I could change to a loss, and I stated this in our Chargers video. I think they split with the Chargers, man. I don't know which one it could be. It could be that Week 18 game in LA. But I see the Chargers splitting, so
I can see that.
Don't be surprised if it's Week 7 in Arrowhead.
That'll be 3 losses in a row, bro. That'll be if we really think the Broncos and the Dolphins will get those wins. That'll be 3 straight. I don't see that happening. I don't know.
Not the Chiefs.
If that's happening. No, not the Chiefs. But I think 13-4, 12-5 is right around there. I think 14-3 was. I mean, you could say it's lofty, but it's only a win off of our prediction. They could get that. It's the Chiefs. But I'm leaning around that area. 13-4, 12-5 for the Chiefs. 2 seed in the AFCs.
Who's the one?
AFC. I won't tell you that. I'll save that. But I guess you can guess. You can figure it out.
This guy should have won. This guy should have won his Bengals hat for this damn segment.
Chiefs fans, this is about y'all. Y'all got 2 Super Bowls. Y'all can talk y'all trash. But let us know what y'all think about the season prediction, the record prediction, and how me and Peach kind of laid this schedule out. Which games you think is an automatic win? If you think y'all going 17-0, be honest. Let us know.
Come on, Chiefs fans.